Hello guys, welcome back to Burn It Down, here with some wrestling news. But before we proceed, hit the subscribe button and turn on bell notification so you don't miss out on future videos. Seth Rollins set to miss more WWE television for Captain America filming. Seth Rollins is in a terrific point in his career right now because he's established himself as a top wrestler, appears to be a week away from winning the World Championship, and is moving forward with his acting career. Seth Rollins will miss some work because of his involvement in the upcoming Marvel film. The World Heavyweight Championship match between Seth Rollins and AJ Styles at Night of Champions is crucial. This means that before the huge Saudi Arabian event airs, Rollins will have to miss some more TV shows. Via Ringside News, it was noted in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that Seth Rollins will have to miss next week's Raw as well. He wasn't on the show this week, and they aired a pre-taped interview segment. They are currently filming the movie in Atlanta, so he won't have to make too long of a flight. To promote Night of Champions, WWE will probably air another pre-recorded segment with Seth Rollins. As Rollins is experiencing a very exciting and hectic period right now. What's your thoughts on Seth Rollins' new role in Captain America: New World Order? Would it affect the results at Night of Champions? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Drew McIntyre's return being held by WWE Creative. Drew McIntyre's WWE contract situation is still unknown, but it is starting to become clearer when he will return to television. Since WrestleMania 39, McIntyre has been in the news frequently owing to both his disappearance from television and his long-term employment with the organization. It is thought that McIntyre is dissatisfied with the way his character is being developed. His contract expires at the end of 2023, along with those of other superstars, but current report states that he had not yet signed anything new. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter reported. At this point, McIntyre's return is basically more a creative issue regarding what they want, what he wants, and when they agree to it. Regarding the potential of his leaving, the time he has been out of action can be used to freeze and extend his contract if WWE so desires. WWE in the past has done that with numerous wrestlers who had expressed wanting to leave. It should be noted that McIntyre, to the best of our knowledge, has not asked to leave, but they have not agreed to a new deal. But there is an obvious spot for him as a heel challenging Rollins. What are your thoughts on Drew McIntyre's situation? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Randy Orton advised to mentor NXT talent if he retires. Due to a back issue, Randy Orton has been out for a considerable amount of time. After being attacked by the Usos last year, he was removed from WWE television, and fans still mourn him. As was previously mentioned, Orton had back fusion surgery, and since then, his situation hasn't improved. Unfortunately, medical professionals have also cautioned Randy Orton against making a comeback in the ring. Teddy Long said on the Wrestling Time Machine that he thinks Randy Orton should move to a backstage position in NXT and eventually wind up mentoring NXT superstars if he retires from the ring. As per Wrestling News, this is what Terry stated on Sportskeeda's YouTube segment. Randy, he's kind of hot-headed, and I think I've seen that in the past, but recently, I've had a chance to see Randy, and Randy has certainly become a family man now. I don't see that hot-headed in him that he used to have. I think he's calmed down and understands what it means to be alive. I can't count it out. You know how this business is to some people. They've got it in their blood. They just got to do it. I think Randy will do the smart thing, and I think if the doctor is telling him not to come back, I don't think he will. I don't know. This is just me saying it, but like I said, I think he's pretty level-headed now and he understands. If I were him, I would go to maybe NXT, take a job there, help some of those young kids, and show them the right way. Randy Orton is another guy that knows how this works. That's where you got to have people like him, Shawn Michaels or Terry Taylor, those guys that are down there. They know how this works, and that's who those guys need to learn from people that know what they're doing. Randy is one of those people. If Randy was smart, I would take that. That'd be easy, and plus, he's giving back to the business, and then you can watch what you've done. If you've helped some of the young kids out, you can sit back and watch them and be proud of your work. In the opinion of some others, Randy Orton ought to heed the advice of the physicians and stop competing. What are your thoughts on Orton's current situation? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Top star is planning to take time off. Liv Morgan has been forced to withdraw from a bout on Raw this week due to an undisclosed injury. Morgan sustained the injury when competing with Raquel Rodriguez for the women's tag team titles against Damage Control last week on SmackDown. The condition of the tag team titles will depend on the extent of Morgan's injuries, according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. As per Ringside News, he also stated, "The women's tag title obviously depends upon the severity of Morgan's injury. The women's tag titles have been cursed since Rousey and Baszler were supposed to win them at Mania, and the titles were only step one in a longer-term Rousey storyline. The timing of this is an issue because Rousey is planning on taking time off at a certain time frame which was prior to WrestleMania, and the story was to end well before that. They would have to speed up the storyline if Rousey doesn't extend her stay, because the original plan was to establish the team as champions for a while, and then do the actual storyline that this was to build to. We'll have to wait and watch what transpires in the upcoming weeks. Raquel Rodriguez appears to be back on track after Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler jumped her on this week's episode of Raw. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Roman Reigns proved yet again this week that he is a big draw for WWE. The undisputed WWE Universal Champion was accidentally scheduled to compete on Saturday in Fayetteville, North Carolina, for a house show. The venue advertised that it would be Reigns' first time competing in the city in more than 4 years. WWE built the program on Reigns and even purchased radio advertising for a few days in the market. WWE, however, announced on Wednesday that Reigns would not be making an appearance and that ticket holders would receive refunds if they so desired up until 7:30 p.m. on the day of the event. Reigns' old schedule was given to the promotional team, according to WWE, before it was updated. Reigns reportedly agreed to work fewer dates, largely just television and PLE events, after signing a new lucrative contract with WWE last year, which means he no longer frequently performs at house shows. AEW denies rehiring Ace Steel. Ace Steel had been working as a producer for AEW before the Brawl Out event at All Out when he was part of the fight along with CM Punk, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks. Steel allegedly threw a chair and bit Omega during the fight. But according to recent reports, Steel is already receiving AEW paycheck once more. According to Nick Hausman of Haus of Wrestling, AEW rehired Steel a few months ago, but he hasn't been actively working while backstage at events because they feared he might annoy fans by being there. Instead, they had him collaborate remotely on creative with AEW president Tony Khan. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, AEW has denied that Ace Steel was rehired. As per Ringside News, Dave Meltzer reported. Steel had been in talk with Impact until several weeks ago, concurrent with a detailed story, and as noted denied to us by AEW that he had inked a new deal to return. The story is that Tony Khan told Punk that Steel could have his job and work closely with Punk, but that he would work remotely and not be brought to the Collision tapings. Everything fell apart at that point. AEW told WBD to remove Punk from all press materials. Keep in mind that we went through similar drama with MJF, which was a secret Brian Pillman storyline prior to last year's Double or Nothing, and the storyline goal was to lead to MJF beating Punk for the title upon his return at All Out, which never happened because Punk was injured, delaying the match to Full Gear, and then Punk was injured again. So Jon Moxley had to take his place in losing at Full Gear. While there is no indication from anyone reliable that this is a situation similar to that, we do have a precedent from Double or Nothing, where everyone was kept in the dark about everything. The key difference is that the Punk WBD announcement was supposed to be huge, and while the Saturday show was not completely incumbent on Punk's return, those at WBD, because of his prior ratings and business success with AEW, pushed very hard for him to be brought back. There is a lot to unpack in this story because it is so intriguing. It was widely anticipated that CM Punk would perform at the Collision show, but he later appeared to back out of the arrangement. It was necessary to alter press releases and promotional materials. The key hint that ignited the entire problem was a forgotten link that displayed Punk's name on a press release. What's your take on CM Punk's current situation with AEW? Drop your thoughts in the comments. That's all for today, guys. Catch you on our next video.